Hey, Nino.
Murphy is the biggest, most useless bitch that I've ever met in my fucking life.
Okay, yeah, I tend to agree.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I agree. I never liked him.
Eve, I need a soundboard event.
Okay.
It's been about 2 weeks trying to get information on a situation with Fiona. Subsequently, I'm acquiring clients, all of which I can't do anything with. Individuals with warrants, individuals with appeals, all because 7 months ago, Moulton wrote some dog shit FOIA thing, half drunkenly, mind you. The thing's filled with grammatical errors.
Sounds like Moulton.
Yeah, and do I blame the guy? Not really. Well, do I blame everyone else for reading it and not like batting an eye? Abso-fucking-lutely. So I'm out here trying to get like FOIAs, which is literally like I can't do anything without it, right? Because it's just that, you know what I mean? I can't go to court. I can't do this. I can't do that. I got lawyers telling me they got the same problem to the point that they're silently giving up on cases. I go and speak to the judges about it, right? And the judges tell me it's a city council that makes the decision, right? I then find out that the FOIAs aren't even a part of legislation. Somehow the PD finds out about this a day or two later. How? I don't know. 7 months later, like I find this out, all of a sudden they know about it 2 days later. I don't know. And so now we're in this predicament where like, you know, they got this whole thing. To give you an idea, right? I'm gonna give you an example. There's a guy that's been robbed for the past 4 months in sanitation by apparently by chain gang, and he's gotten his gun stolen 4 times. One of those times, apparently the PD never made a report. Now, whether he forgot to report it or not is unknown, right? But irrelevant. The guy has a endless warrant for attempted murder for a government employee. This guy is the biggest civ. I mean, this guy just does sanitation all day. And when I'm not able to get any information on him, and so I talked to the judges. I'm like, guys, this isn't even in fucking legislation. What the fuck are we supposed to do? And they're like, well, the city council, right? Or the PD. I go talk to the PD, and they're saying, oh, the DOJ made it. I talk to, and they're like, oh, go talk to Murphy. I go talk to Murphy. This guy's fucking sitting on the phone crying. I spent 15 minutes with him explaining, like, what the issue is. And I find out in the last 7 months, he's never requested a FOIA. That no lawyer, despite in the last week, they're all telling me these problems. They've never told him this problem. And when I go to explain it to him, he goes, oh, just write it down for me. Like, what the fuck? I was one of 3 people that voted for him. Like, what is your job if not to hear me out? Right?
Yeah.
I'm... Eve, I'm gonna either become a fucking psycho and murder everything that moves, or I'm gonna impeach that motherfucker, take his spot, and then become the mayor. Because I'm fucking sick and goddamn tired. You know what I got done? You know, yesterday I talked to Slacks too for an hour. So I talked to Bailey, right? We had a great conversation. He understood the issues. He understood I had a legal, you know, leg to stand on. He understood that, well, I can't really, myself and everyone else can't do shit, and that it's surprising no one's brought this concern up for 7 entire months. Well, I was then directed to Slacks, who told me he's the guy because he talked to Bailey. I spent 45 minutes talking to that man only for him to say he can't do anything.
Oh my god.
This is the problem with these motherfuckers. They just want to yap, 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 and they actually don't got power, energy, or intuition, or any ability to fucking, like, think beyond what's in front of them. I then, after getting just absolutely fucking annoyed by the end of that, I go and speak with Ruby, Assistant Chief of Police. And the best way, now, I didn't actually pop off on her because I was already so triggered at Slacks that her ability to, like, hold the conversation probably satiated my, like, my anger a bit. But it wasn't until afterwards I came to realize that the entire conversation that I had with her pretty much had her say and confirm, well, we don't pretty much have to give you shit. And the DOJ came up with this, go and talk to them, is despite the fact that Bailey said it's the head of bar and the consul who's responsible. And everyone's just passing the buck and protecting their employees. They are victim blaming. And she had the audacity to tell me that this guy, that's a civilian. The people that they're supposed to be serving and protecting.
I don't think the Civilian Oversight Board has done anything since it's been created.
They can't, because the head of it is these two lazy fucks, number one being Moulton, and now this fucking dumbass named Murphy Braun. I didn't know this guy was such a clueless fucking moron. He's actually more useful than Slacks. And that's hard to do. Eve, imagine that only 3 people voted for you for head of bar. One of them calls you up and is like, hey, here's a problem. And the entire time you're like exasperating. I got like, you know, all this other shit I'm dealing with, even though I can't enumerate what those problems are that I'm dealing with. And I don't have time for your FOIAs, even though that's literally the only tool.
Your job.
Yeah, that's even though that's your job, and that's like inherently like it's imagine like you're a police officer, right? And your guns aren't working, right? And you know, one of your cops comes to you and it's like, hey, chief of police, our guns aren't working. And they're like, oh, well, I don't got time for your guns. Like, what? Like, hello? Has everyone given up? Like that's the only that's what it feels like. And it's sad, it's pathetic, and it has enraged me to the point that I want everyone to just move out of the way so I could sit at the fucking top and bring some goddamn energy into the backs of these people that are responsible. Have you looked
at the legislation we have? Is any of the legislation we have useful in any way or shape?
No, it's completely useless. Like half of it is like it's like shit that, like in the United States, it's like shit, like, you know, if I were to make a comparison, it's like shit that it has been passed to make it look like people have been doing work.
The only legislation I like is stop and go.
Agreed.
And nobody was doing that anyway.
There's like a mime thing. There's like a, like, I don't know. It genuinely feels like from the ass chief to like just everybody. I have not spoken to a single person with an ounce of influence who's shown me that they give a shit about the everyday man and give a shit about the future of Los Santos. Because anyone with an ounce of passion and concern is going to be insightful, considerate, and engaging in these conversations. And I'm not even getting a drip of that. And it's fucking sad and it's pathetic. And I am ready to do something about it.
You meet up with Osvaldo? Because Osvaldo is running for mayor.
Who?
Osvaldo?
I haven't. The thing is, Eve, I can't wait. Like, how when's the mayor like thing? Like in a month?
I have no idea.
I think it's like in a month from now. That's way too long. And
yeah, I agree.
That's kind of it, Eve, right? Like Murphy goes, I got this other shit to deal with. I'm like, can you not do 2 things at the same time? Like
multitasking?
Yeah,
I've heard of it.
Multitasking. Like, hello? Like, how are you a lawyer? That's like, could you imagine that for a second?
Yeah, you come and tell me, sorry, I'm busy. because I can only do one thing at a time.
It's like, I'm starting to wonder if it, like, I don't know. I'm beside myself. I popped off on him. He told me that Max is trying to kill him, by the way. And I ended the phone call with saying, I hope he does. Because holy fuck. God. Yeah, I mean, what a fucking useless sack of shit.
I'm pretty sure, like, you know, at some point, shit changes so much on that council, whereas Max tries to pick people who is on his side, and then all of a sudden, if they're not on his side, like, he just tries to, like, put out hits on them and fires them, and it just, like, I don't fucking know what happens in that council, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, and this police department, holy fucking Christ. You know, I had, oh my God. I went, you know, my first interaction with the police department? I go into Mission Row. It's like a dispatcher there because I'm told, like, they can take reports. I'm like, hey, I got a client. She's a victim. I need to get, like, a report on what happened to her because 2 police officers forced her into becoming a hostage. They forced her into the bank with armed individuals inside. They didn't write a report for it. So what do?
Seems like a thing that's becoming something very, very common, not writing reports.
Yeah. So they didn't have it. So what do we got to do? We got to go make another one. So I'm like, okay, she's going to write a victim statement. This fucking horseshit of a dispatcher smugly says, well, we can't give it to you for 5 days. And I'm like, excuse me? Like, what in the like ass-brained like response is that? That we're here, she's giving you a statement that you're typing down and recording, and you need to wait 5 days? Like, excuse me?
Kitty!
I'm just, and then I'm being told that, wait, if people have warrants, you can't get the report on it. And then I'm being told by these fucking dumbass cops that that they need 5 days to write a report. I got in. They cannot even articulate. They cannot even articulate why they need the 5 days. They genuinely cannot. And
it's an excuse to not do work immediately.
Precisely. And I told them, I'm like, you do fundamentally understand that the moment you have processed a individual, the moment you have concluded on your warrant, you require something called probable cause. If you do not have probable cause, then what you are doing is fundamentally illegal. And therefore, if that report that you have put in, that, so, like, you know, and I gave Slacks like an explanation of this in Ruby, but the way that they were acting was acting like I was like talking down to them. But like, how else do you explain, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, imagine it's like getting upset that someone's telling you 1 + 1 = 2 when you're writing the alphabet on a board and you're like, no, listen, this is how 1 is, and then 1, you know what I'm saying? And so I'm explaining, I'm like, why would you need 5 days? If you're going and processing them, you have the evidence. So what is the 5 days for? And they're like, oh, well, someone might go to sleep and, like, you know, things happen in the city. I'm like, but they just arrested him. Why did you need, if the guy fell asleep, then how did you give him the charge? You know what I mean? So, like, if they went to sleep, then how were you able to give him the charge because he went to sleep? You didn't have their information, which means you didn't need it to begin with.
They're just making things up on the fly at that point.
Maybe I should just move to Polito and become like a farmer or something.
It's really nice up here. I'm decorating a bar. Everybody's here right now. Jaeger's here, Glorian is here, Kitty is here. So many people are hanging out right now.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I'll come up in a little bit.
Yeah, there's a bonds office you can buy, Nino.
Yeah.
And live in your bonds office. You know, Better Call Saul. You know,
Yeah,
just
but
live in your office.
I you can't be a lawyer in Los Santos right now, fundamentally.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe I'm just doing
I
a little
left
bit.
you
I
a
needed.
little
I
Discord
appreciate it,
DM
Eva.
with
Yeah.
passion
Sorry for
and
venting
insight.
too
Yeah.
much, but
No,
holy
no,
Nino
no.
fuck.
Sabres.
It's okay.
All right. I'll see you in a little bit.
Yeah, you're good.
All right. You take care. Bye.
Bye.